पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna everyone. Mataji, can you pin me if everyone is able to see?
Mataji, do you have a PowerPoint?
Complete. So the fourth one is Bhagavata Shravanam. So when you are speaking about Bhagavat Shravanam, before coming to Bhagavat Shravanam, let us understand in this, not in this material world, let me speak in this whole cosmic manifestation, we are imbibed to follow certain rules. So, first of all, there are two types of world we all know. That is, one is the spiritual world and one is the material world. So, when you talk about the spiritual world, then we have rules in the spiritual world also. And we call them as constitutional rules. And when you talk about rules, we all know that rules are meant to have do's and don'ts. So there is only one do to be done in the spiritual world, and there's only one don't. And the one do to be done is love. And that is the only constitutional rule which exists in the spiritual world. Everyone loves Krishna. And the only one don't is envy. Don't envy Krishna. So when you're talking about for us, then we have somewhere envied Krishna, and that's why we have come to the material world. So only these two exist in the spiritual world, that is love and envy. But when, because of envy, we come into this material world, then we are bound by so many rules. Jail mein jab jate hai, so there are many rules to be followed, and you're tortured like anything. But due to Srila Prabhupada, we have escaped certain rules. There are karma kanda rules, then you have different karmic reactions, different karma karne padte hai. Those who think karma nahi karna hai, then they go to the jnana rules, then dhyana, then ashtanga. There are different sects wherein, you will have to follow different rules. But because of Srila Prabhupada, we have come into bhakti. Now, after coming into bhakti also, we follow certain rules. So we are always bound by rules. Never think that we can be a free bird. We'll always be under certain rule. But because of Srila Prabhupada, we are under proper, perfect rules, we can say. So when you talk about the rules in bhakti, then there are many rules. We have to chant, we have to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, and many things are there which we have to follow just so that we can get connected to Krishna, we can go back to Krishna, we can please Krishna. So out of all these rules, the most important one which Srila Prabhupada has given us is the early morning program. It is meant to be followed by everyone. But, unfortunately, we feel that it is only for those who stay in the temple, the brahmacharis. Getting up early in the morning, attending Mangala Aarti, then, japa session is there, Tulsi Aarti is there, Narsingh Aarti is there, japa is there, then Shringar Darshan, Guru Puja, and then we come to the Bhagavatam class. So basically, for those who feel कि अरे ये तो जो टेम्पल में हम लोग तो रोज सुबह नहीं जा सकते, तो हम लोग कैसे करेंगे? But all this is possible at home also. We can, as Mataji said, we can install deities at home, and then we can have Mangal Aarti. If suppose the situation is where we cannot install deities, then nowadays, thanks to technology, if we use it properly for a proper cause, then we can have YouTube live session of Mangal Aarti, Guru Puja, everything in our phone itself. So early morning, getting up at 4:30, attending Mangal, 4 o'clock utke nahakar. Mangal Aarti, you can sit at home and you can attend. This is the least possible thing which we can do, I'm saying. The best thing is going to the temple and attending, or else installing deities and having Mangal Aarti at home. Then even if that is not possible, then you can attend Mangal Aarti live. Whichever ISKCON center you want, you will get, YouTube live, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Chopati, Hyderabad. Every temple nowadays gives you a YouTube live session to take proper darshan of the deities. Attending Mangalarti, Tulsi Aarti, Guru Puja, and after Guru Puja, after Japa session, we have Guru Puja, Shringararti Guru Puja, and then we have Bhagavatam class. So Bhagavatam class becomes a very important aspect of our daily sadhana. So today's session, what we are having is Bhagavata Shravanam. So before going into Bhagavata Shravanam, let us understand what is Shravanam first of all. So when we say about Shravanam means, everyone knows it's hearing, right? So when, Hiranyakashipu, he asked Prahlad, "Oh my dear son, please tell me, what is the best thing you have learned in your life?" So first he said, "Tatsadu manye asuravarya denam," that shloka itself. And then, he felt, no, something is wrong. Because in that shloka, Prahlad Maharaj says that, you have to go to the forest and you have to, surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vanam gatoyat harim ashrayata. So then he calls Shanda Marka, his teachers, and said कि नहीं कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, please इसको लेके जाओ और कुछ बराबर से सिखाओ. So then, Shanda Marka, they take him, and then, again Prahlad comes in front of his father. This time again, yeah, Hare Krishna, somebody is unmuted. Please mute yourself. Sushma, please mute yourself. Yeah. Then, yes, so the next time when Prahlad comes in front of Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu will again ask, "What is the best thing you have learned in your school?" So that time he says this shloka, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. These are the 9 processes of devotional service, and anyone who takes up to these 9 processes has liberated from this material world. So Shravanam, the first thing Prahlad Maharaj says is Shravanam. So bhakti starts with Shravanam. Until and unless you don't hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you cannot engage yourself in the remaining processes of Navavida Bhakti. So Shravanam means you hear properly and you hear in a mood where you can accept what you are hearing. Like, Radha Gopinath Prabhuji, he says that if the person sitting on the Vyasasana is, passing the message which is coming from the Guru Parampara in the right mood, and if the person sitting below the Vyasasana to hear is hearing in the mood of accepting what is coming from the Guru Parampara, then transformation is guaranteed. So Shravanam should be done in that mood. So that is one thing. And it is also said that if you are not smart enough to hear and learn, then you have to go through and learn. I'll repeat, if you're not smart enough to hear and learn, then you have to go through and learn. So obviously we don't want the second option. We don't want to go through the tribulations of life and learn things. It is better that we hear, we accept things. मम्मी पापा बोलते हैं, अरे बाबा सुनो, हम लोग जो बोल रहे हैं वो सुनो. तुम लोग के भले के लिए बोल रहे हैं हम लोग. Right? They always say like that. So always we have to hear our seniors, our superiors, and the best hearing is hearing from Guru Parampara about what is there in the scriptures about Krishna. So now, coming to Bhagavata Shravan. Why Srila Prabhupada selected to have a Bhagavatam class? Obviously, Shravanam, when you're doing, you can do of any scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada has given us all the different, translations of on Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have to read Nectar of Devotion so that we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So ultimately we're saying that Bhagavatam is the center of all the scriptures. That is one thing. And if you take few minutes, I just want to speak about, like Srila Vyasdev glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. To understand that, Srila Vyasdev, he wrote all the scriptures. First of all, what was the need to write? Because, he felt, nowadays, like, when Shukdev Goswami spoke Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, all the Rishimunis visited and all the sages were hearing. Among them was Sutta Goswami. Now, Sutta Goswami just heard it. He did not make any notes. He just heard all the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then when he came across the Naimisharanya sages, they said, Ki, oh great sage, please tell us what is beneficial for this life, for the future life, and what is the ultimate essence of the life and everything. So this, when they asked, that time, Sutta Goswami, he recited all the 18,000 verses which he had heard from Shukdev Goswami. He did not make a note or he did not by heart. So that was the memory power of the people of that age. They could just hear and remember everything. But then, Srila Vyasdev, out of compassion, he felt, oh my God, when this Bhagavatam will reach the people of Kali Yuga, now they'll hardly take up to reading, but someone will be there who will take up to reading. So I have to write it down. Because, he has written, he says the nature of the people over here in this age of Kali Yuga, how it will be. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadritaha. एकदम लो मेमोरी पावर रहेगा, एकदम शॉर्ट लाइव्स रहेंगे, एकदम लेजी रहेंगे, कंप्लीटली लेजी. तो इन लोग के लिए मुझे लिखना पड़ेगा. So he started writing all the Vedas and he wrote all the Vedas. But he was not satisfied at all. All the 4 Vedas and 108 Upanishads, 18 Puranas, and many Shruti scriptures and Smriti Puranas, many he wrote. But then he was not satisfied. And then Narad Muni came. He said, Kya ho gaya Vyasdev? What happened? What happened, oh my disciple? Why are you, so much of anxiety? So much of disturbance? And I said, I've written so much, but I'm not satisfied at heart. So then Narad Muni said, you have written, whatever you have written is perfect. It's not perfect, but ekdam acha hai. But somewhere, it is not glorifying the Lord directly. Obviously, Vedas have glorification of the Lord in them. But, it gets mixed into all different aspects, of how to lead the life in this material world. So उन सब में ना फिर वो छिप जाता है, डायरेक्ट ग्लोरिफिकेशन दिखता नहीं है. So you write a scripture which specifically glorifies the Lord and his devotees. So that time Vyasdev starts writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, when he writes Srimad Bhagavatam, he becomes so happy, so content at heart. So now, yes, this Bhagavatam, when you talk, like Vyasdev, when he starts writing Srimad Bhagavatam, obviously now, I'm not saying he wrote it directly. Obviously, he was speaking and, like Ganeshi was writing all the scriptures. So, when you come to Srimad Bhagavatam, the first 3 verses are called as the invocation mantras. Invocation means when you start something, you have to create a scene of, auspiciousness. You have to invoke auspiciousness so that everything goes well. So the first 3 mantras are the mantras which create auspiciousness, and they are called as invocation mantras. So the first one is, offering praise to the Supreme Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, it starts with. And the second one actually speaks about the subject, the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the third glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the second verse, when Srila Vyasdev is writing, Dharma projito kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. So, those people, nirmatsaranam satam means, those who are pure at heart. They're completely pure at heart. They accept which is param. Paramo means the highest truth. They just want to take up the highest truth. And what they want to reject, all these dharmo projito kaitavu atra, means whatever, talks about, in the name of dharma, all different religious activities are there. So devotees are not interested into, the karma kanda activities. They just want to reject all the karma kanda activities, the different religious activities, and they just want to accept the highest truth. So dharma projito kaitavu atra paramo nirmatsaranam sutam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon. So what is this highest truth? Where it is there? It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this highest truth, Vedyam Vastavam. Vastavam means it is the fact. Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about the truth and it is factual. It directly says this is factual. You have to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And it is a fact. It is a reality which has to be accepted, which is beyond any illusion. Tapatrayon Mulana means it will remove the miseries. Tapa means the threefold miseries will be just uprooted. Trayon Mulanam. Mulanam means the roots. तो अपने जो भी थ्री फोल्ड मिजरीज से हम लोग जो है ना हमेशा घेरे हुए रहते हैं ना, हमेशा मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, मुझे वो प्रॉब्लम है, आई हैव टू कॉलेज में ये एग्जाम है, ऑफिस में ये प्रेशर है, ऑल दिस when you are in the association of Srimad Bhagavatam, then all these threefold miseries, they just vanish. Tapatrayan Mula. It uproots. It will uproot all the threefold miseries. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahamuni Krite. Who has compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam? It has been compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva. Kim Vapare means what other, why you need another scripture? कोई scripture, कोई दूसरे scripture की जरूरत ही नहीं है. This is directly said by Srila Vyasadeva. You don't need any other scripture. Srimad Bhagavatam is enough. Ishvara Sadhya Avarudhyate. Riddhi. Ishvara Sadhya Riddhi Avarudhyate. Means the Lord. Sadhya means at once. Riddhi means heart. Avarudhyate. Enters, is established. Love for the Supreme Lord is established within the heart. Atra Kritibi Shishrubhi Tatshanat, which means Kritibi means pious men. Shishrubhi means who are, who have accepted the culture of reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Tatshanat means immediately. Means Srila Prabhupada in translation writes that, one who has taken up, at once takes up this association, the reading and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, immediately, love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is established in his heart. So this is the shloka. It's a very beautiful shloka, which, at once, brings that hope somewhere in our heart, because, you start, reading Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So the invocation mantra, it invokes that auspicious and the positive hope कि chalo, when I'll be in the association of Srimad Bhagavatam, sab acha hone wala. Krishna is all auspicious. The shloka which says, Krishna swadhamo pagate. What is it? Dharma jnanadi bhisaha. Dharma jnanadi bhisaha. Yes. So when, Krishna, when he left this world, material world, when Krishna left this material world, at that time, Kali Yuga started. Means Krishna left, Dwapar Yuga ended, and Kali Yuga started. So when Krishna went with what he went with Dharma Jnanadi Bisaha, means means with him, like sun. When sun goes off, everything goes up, light, everything goes off, पूरा dark हो जाता है. Nothing is left. अरे कुछ नहीं कर सकते, अभी सिर्फ सोना है. Obviously, those are in villages, उनके लिए तो वैसे ही रहेगा. Obviously, now we'll feel कि नहीं लाइट लगाओ, बल्ब जलाओ, टीवी लगाओ, सब करो, रात को सब करो. So that is completely wrong. The real culture is when the sun goes off, everything becomes dark. So people in those days कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, बस अभी सोना है, फिर सुबह सन के लिए वेट करना है. So like Krishna is compared to the brilliant sun. So when Krishna went, he took away everything. So everything became dark. But kalau nashto drisham esha puranarko dunodita. So for this people of Kali Yuga, Krishna, felt कि अरे मैं चला जाऊंगा तो इनका क्या होने वाला. So then he sent Srimad Bhagavatam. Puranarko dunodita. So Srimad Bhagavatam arises like thousands of brilliance of suns, brilliant effulgent sun coming up. So then Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna. So it is said that Krishna left, but he gave us Srimad Bhagavatam. So then if we have Srimad Bhagavatam, then it is equivalent to having Krishna with us. And the third invocation mantra, it is again so beautiful. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Nigama. Gama means going down. Like if you see in that shloka, Nigama means Srila Prabhupada has written the meaning as Vedic literatures. So I was thinking, Gama means going down. So फिर Prabhupada ने Vedic literature करके क्यों लिखा है? So then I understood it means Gama means going down. As water naturally flows down. So conditioned souls, they have a tendency of naturally, doing such activities which will take down to hell. Naturally enough, we tend to perform such activities which will take us to hell only. ऐसा ऊपर नहीं जाते हम लोग, naturally नीचे ही गिरने का ही रहता है स्वभाव. So nigama means something which will rise us above and stop us from going down. So Vedic literatures, if they are there in our life, then they can help us to rise up and stop going down. So nigama. Nigama kalpatarur. So this Vedic literature is compared to a big desire tree. So one time there was a farmer and he was working in his field for a long time and he became completely tired working and it was too hot. So he was thinking, I just want to go and sit under the shade of a tree. So at very far he found a big tree. So he went and sat under the tree. Then he was so tired. He said, it would be so nice if I could get one small fruit to eat. I'm so hungry. And immediately a fruit fell in his hand. So then, he felt, अरे वाह, ये तो एकदम अच्छा हो गया ना. So then he said, कि थोड़ा पानी भी मिल जाए. So immediately a glass of water came. So then, he started contemplating कि मैं जिसके नीचे बैठा हूँ वो है क्या. First he saw, कोई है क्या, कोई नहीं था. So he understood कि ये desire tree होगा ये. So then, वो लालच पैदा हो जाता है, greed. So then he said कि, कितना अच्छा होगा कि इधर ही मेरा घर बस जाए. तो immediately a home came. घर बन गया. So then he felt कि शादी विधि हो जाए तो और अच्छा है. तो बीवी आ गई. So then he was very happy कि इतना फटाफट सब कुछ हो रहा है. So then it started becoming night. By the time all these desires were being fulfilled, it became night. मैंने घर मगर एकदम ये बीच जंगल के बीच में लग रहा है तो कैसे किधर शेर आ गया. So sometimes not necessary that we'll ask the best if we stand under the desire tree because we don't know what to ask. Vyasdev knows this also कि इन लोग को कुछ पता नहीं है desire tree से क्या पूछना है. So immediately he'll tell you what you have to ask. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam. So what you have to ask from the desire tree is the mature, the ripened fruit. I want the ripened fruit of this desire tree. And this ripened fruit is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that we have to understand. We don't need to ask anything. It is given to us already. The ripened fruit of the Vedic literatures is Srimad Bhagavatam. And it becomes more tastier when it is spoken by Shukadev Goswami. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shuka mukhad amrita dravya samyutam. Shuka mukhad, when it comes from the mouth of Shuka. Shuka means, over here, our acharyas compare Shukdev Goswami to Shuka. Shuka means parrot. So, as a parrot, when it touches with its red beak a ripened fruit. Shukdev Goswami was a parrot. He was a parrot of Srimati Radharani, and he flew. And he was actually hearing, Lord Shiva glorifying the different pastimes of the Lord to Parvati Devi. And then, when Lord Shiva found that, Parvati Devi is not hearing and a parrot is hearing. So he went to shoo up the parrot. And the parrot, out of fear, it ran and it went into the womb of wife of Srila Vyasdev. And then he's known as the son of Srila Vyasdev. And he heard the whole Bhagavatam from Srila Vyasdev. So now when he is speaking, Srila Vyasdev wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, but the original speaker is Shukdev Goswami. So Shukha Mukhad, when he speaks the Srimad Bhagavatam, so when the bird touches a ripened fruit with its beak, then it becomes more relishable. Amrita, Shukha Mukhad, Amrita, it becomes Amrit. Dravya Samyutam, so relishable. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, just keep drinking it. Pibata Rasamalayam, it is so nectarian. Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhag. So then it's given over there that, oh thoughtful men, oh intelligent men, oh rasika, oh bhavuka. So such kind of people take, and even if those who are not such type of people, if they take to Srimad Bhagavatam, then they will become rasika and bhavuka. So beautifully, if you go, if you go through the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, each and every word is so nectarian, so nectarian. Then, so beautifully, Srila Vyasadeva, he has explained, why, first of all, we have to take Srimad Bhagavatam. Why we have to take the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, if you study, then it has, it only speaks about different Vaishnavas, the different incarnations of the Lord himself, pastimes of the Lord, pastimes of Lord's incarnations, Narsingadev, Varadev, Vamandev, Lord Ram, Matsya Avatar, all the incarnations, and all the devotees of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, all these wonderful devotees are glorified in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Pandavas, the Gopis, all are so beautifully, they are all so wonderfully glorified in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti Devi. So, when you are under the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, then you are actually in connection to all these great devotees, and in connection to all the incarnations of the Lord, and in connection to Supreme Lord himself. So everywhere it's only beautiful. It's only auspicious. Nothing can be inauspicious if you are in connection to Krishna. Nothing can be inauspicious. So if you are in connection to Srimad Bhagavatam, nothing can be inauspicious. Everything will be auspicious only. And every day we, before Srimad Bhagavatam is recited also, they say the shloka, right? Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati ruttama shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, then it becomes very important to understand. One second. Yes. That, it's not that, means we have to hear, अरे हम लोग कहाँ से मंदिर जाएंगे, दिन में भी हम लोग को तो टाइम नहीं मिलता, ठीक है ऑनलाइन क्लास से मगर टाइम नहीं मिलता, तो एटलीस्ट संडेज we can at least take up this. Actually, I don't say Sundays, I say Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya doesn't mean कि daily 8:45 to 9 o'clock हम लोग भागवत श्रवण करें. Actually, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, according to Vyasdev, is constantly you be under the shelter of Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And over there in the translation, Srila Prabhupada also writes that, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya means there are two kinds of Bhagavatas. That is a book Bhagavatam and the person Bhagavatam. So, last Sunday when His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was giving Bhagavatam class, so, Maharaj was also glorifying Bhagavatam. And then Maharaj said, we will be able to understand or hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the proper mood when we serve the Bhagavatas, when we serve the person Bhagavata. So then it becomes very important to be in the association of a Bhagavata to understand Bhagavatam. We feel भाद्र पूर्णिमा के टाइम में मैंने भागवतम खरीदा है तो मैं घर पे बैठ के मैं पढ़ लूंगी. So Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, sorry, my charging got over. Sorry for that. Can I continue? Yeah. So over here, yes. So it becomes very important that we take up to hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from a person Bhagavata. Because what happens is, obviously we have to read. Reading is one of the angas of bhakti, which we have to take it very seriously. When we read at home personally, then we are trying to hear Bhagavatam by our own personal realization. But when we are hearing from sitting on the Vyasasan, then we are trying to understand Bhagavatam from that person's, that Bhagavata's realization also. So then, our realization increases, actually, our knowledge increases when we add up to their realization of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. So that thing. So coming to Srimad Bhagavatam, like we know, Prahlad Maharaj heard it when he was in the womb itself. Like the demigods, they came to kill Kayadu, thinking, we don't want another Hiranyakashipu. So then Narad Muni said, no, a great devotee will take birth from her womb. And then Narad Muni took Kayadu, and then, at his hermitage, every day he would recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And Narad Muni, he himself heard, like, when all the transcendentalists, the Bhagavatas, when they would come to his house and his mother would cook and Narad Muni would serve, all these Bhagavata also would, narrate and, discuss Srimad Bhagavatam amongst them. So Narad Muni also, he would recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Kayadu, she was pregnant, she would sleep. But, Prahlad Maharaj in the womb, he would be, from the womb, he would do like this. And, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam when he was in the womb itself. And that's why, with his birth, immediately he became a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. So that is one thing. Then we have Parikshit Maharaj. Utsav Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi. So that time, now, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, अगर किसी ने हम लोग को कुछ कर दिया है, so just want to focus on that problem. I really want a clarification, I want a justice, I want to get, go into legal affairs, किसने ऐसे क्यों किया मेरे साथ and all. Parikshit Maharaj, he said, no, I have to focus on the higher aspect. What is the thing which can be done in this 1 week? So then, he went at the bank of Ganges and he, surrendered to all the sages. And, he waited for Shukdev Goswami to come and sit. And then he asked, what is the best thing to be done in this 7 days? Now, yes, one thing again we have to understand that people think, कि Parikshit Maharaj heard it for 7 days, तो वो भागवत सप्ताह हो गया, तो फिर है ना हम लोग कोई भागवत सप्ताह जाके अटेंड कर देंगे तो फिर अपना काम हो गया. No, it's not like that. Because over here, obviously I'll say Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya also means that you have to, hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily. But कभी कभार क्या हो जाता है कि मीन someone may say कि अरे I am hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from so many years. But it's not about how long we have heard it, but how intensely or with what intensity we are hearing it. Now, at the level of Parikshit Maharaj, to the intensity he heard it, he perfected his life in 1 and he went back home, back to God. So, do we have capacity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam only for 1 week and, perfect our life in 1 week? Means for myself, I'll say no. I will have to hear it daily. So, when Parikshit Maharaj, he could have just read Srimad Bhagavatam and perfected. No, he just chose to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So then it becomes very important that we also choose. We can read, yes, we can do a daily reading of Bhagavatam, but at the same time, if we want transformation of our heart, then surely we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a person Bhagavata. So then it becomes very important. And, like even in Chaitanya Leela, when Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be in a mood of, of Srimati Radharani, in a mood of separation from Lord Krishna. And when that would go into such an extent that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not understand what to do. And, all his associates would feel, ki kya kare, what we can do for Mahaprabhu, what we can do for Mahaprabhu. That time, Gadadhar Pandit, you would feel that, at this moment, I can myself nourish Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only by reciting Bhagavatam. And, you would just, you would take Bhagavatam, you would sit with Bhagavatam and you would sing the glorification of the Lord, जब हम लोग बोलते हैं कि मीन्स गीता है, भागवतम, कुछ भी हम लोग जैसे भगवत गीता जब हम बोले वो एक गीत है, we would beautifully sing it. And, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be nourished because Bhagavatam is nothing but about Krishna. So, you're nourishing a hungry soul. Jiko kuch chahiye, I want something, I want something. I want some solace in terms of Krishna. I want Krishna, I want Krishna. So then Gadadhar Pandit would recite Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna. He would give Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Gadadhar Pandit would recite and cry. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear and cry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also preferred hearing from Gadadhar Pandit, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, doing Bhagavata Sravan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would also cry. And both would cry and cry, to such an extent कि वो जो words है ना पूरे भागवतम pages में जो words थे वो पूरे एकदम fade हो जाते थे एकदम. To that extent they both would cry. So, like all great our acharyas, the Lord himself, the great devotees of the Lord, all took to hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So then, if Srila Prabhupada has made it a very important aspect of our daily sadhana, then, it's very important that we take up to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily. So then, the last part, how to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, when we sit to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to sit in a completely surrendered mood. कि जो भी आ रहा है ना वो परंपरा से आ रहा है, तो I am ready to accept whatever is there, whatever the person sitting on the Vyasasana is saying. That is one thing. To hear in a submissive mood. बहुत सारे जन का ये मेंटालिटी कैसा रहता है कि suppose if this person sitting on the Vyasasana, if he'll say that, today's shloka talks about, Krishna killing Putana. हाँ, ये मुझे आता है, मैंने सुना है, ये मैंने already सुना है. So then, you automatically shut the door here. ये अपने को तो transformation चाहिए ही नहीं. Because the logic is, every shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to bring purification in us. So, you're hearing Putana once, then, love for the Lord is developed. Heart is being purified. You hear, again, थोड़ा और heart का transformation हो, थोड़ा और काम कर रहा है, थोड़ा और काम कर रहा है. Like, Radha Gopinath Prabhuji was saying, one time he said, not one time, recently only, few days back, he was saying that, they started somewhere in 1990s in Chopati. Hearing means this Bhagavatam class was started in Chopati around in 1990s or something. I don't remember the year. So then just few last year, maybe I think last year or last to last year, I don't remember the exact count, but that time they completed Srimad Bhagavatam. So he said it took 25 years. Means हर एक दिन एक श्लोका recite हो रहा है और उसके ऊपर भागवतम क्लास होता है. They recite one shloka and then you have a Bhagavatam class. So like that, it took 25 years to complete the Srimad Bhagavatam. So then Prabhuji was analyzing that if a person is living for 100 years, then you have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam 4 times. He can hear 4 times. So, you have 4 opportunities to purify your life. But keeping this aside, even if you hear one shloka with pure love and intensity to accept that, this is everything what I want, then that can also give a lot of solace, content, satisfaction, purification, transformation, everything, establishment of love of God in our heart. But obviously we have so much conditioning, क्योंकि भागवतम क्लास होते फिर हम लोग काम को जाते, ऑफिस को जाते, सब करते, फिर मटेरियलिस्टिक हो जाते. So then, फिर वो पूरा कल्वनाशनम ये पूरा क्लीन अप करने के लिए फिर दूसरे दिन जपा करना पड़ता है और भागवतम सुनना पड़ता है. So for us, at this level, we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily. That is one thing. And then another aspect, like sometimes it becomes means the tendency is कि mind becomes very selective. अगर जैसे ही वी थिंक कि मुझे श्रवणम करना है, मुझे ना थोड़ा हियरिंग करना है, क्योंकि ना बोला गया है कि साधना में हियरिंग भी करना है. सो देन वी बिकम वेरी सिलेक्टिव. हाँ, आई लाइक दिस पर्सन्स क्लास, आई लाइक दिस पर्सन्स लेक्चर्स. मुझे ना बहुत अच्छा लगता है इनका, तो मैं ना इनका रोज मैं बोले प्रभु जी, माता जी, मैं ना इनका क्लास डेली सुनती हूँ, मुझे ना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. सो आर वी हियरिंग फॉर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, और आर वी हियरिंग क्योंकि बिकॉज कानों को अच्छा लगता है, फिर वो सेंस एंजॉयमेंट हो जाता है. So I normally say my girls, take up to every day hearing Srimad Bhagavatam